So we have police officers in Texas, yes, in Texas, who have decided to come out of the woods. I've never heard of these people before, and I live here. And they are calling for gun control, possibly even gun confiscation, yes, with the way that they're talking because of this mass shooting in Allen, Texas.
Can't happen anymore. I think it's time that we start looking at mental health laws, start looking at gun protection laws. We got to do what we got to do to make sure that the right people have the guns.
Now, as police officers, you know exactly what is going to stop this. And you know for a fact that it's not gun control. So what are you talking about? The only way that these will stop is if no one has guns, as in they just magically disappear off the earth one day and they fail to exist, or everyone, yes, everyone has guns. Because guess what? The criminals already have them. They already have them. So when they pull up to a gun-free zone like this mall in Allen, Texas, really? We're in Dallas and we got a gun-free zone mall? And some dad's walking up and he looks and he sees, oh, gun-free zone, I better put my gun back in my truck. What does that do? That just gives the criminals just a field day in there. See, this is simple stuff. Everyone, big thanks to AccuFire for sponsoring today's video. Now, I had the pleasure of trying out their Noctis TR1. This is their night vision scope, and my God, it is an amazing scope. Built extremely well, extremely user-friendly. You can use it both during the day and night. It's got a mic, HD recording, and they got a whole bunch of other great products out there. They got LPVOs, 1x6, 1x8. They have thermal scopes, pretty much anything that you could want. And the pricing for what you're getting is pretty damn awesome. So there's gonna be a link below the video. Go grab you an AccuFire scope today. Everyone, welcome back. Hope everyone's doing well. We've got a crazy one today. If you're new, or if you just come by often, make sure you're subscribed. If you love guns, if you love America, join the family, make sure the bells click. So, there's a lot of information out there right now about the shooting in Allen, Texas. A lot of it's goofy. Don't get sucked into it. I think a certain group of people need to start challenging what they see on social media. Because if you look at something and say, oh man, saw it on Twitter, it must be true. Now, one of the things that I pride myself on is not getting on here and talking out of my ass. So let's start with this. There's a lot of news companies out there that said that this guy is some sort of Nazi. He's some sort of white supremacist. Okay, perfect. So let me just debunk this for everyone really quick so we can just put this to bed. First off, the dude's Mexican. So unless he really hates himself, which he very well might, because he did this and he may have used it to just kind of go out. You have to have pretty much no self-worth at that point because you're not white. That would mean that you hate yourself. There's no logic in it. I think this guy wanted to go out a certain way and draw the most attention possible to himself because he knew that the media would just completely cry over this whole thing. But that part really doesn't matter. Let's get to the part that is really confusing.
I don't know what the gunman's problem was. I don't know his motive. But it wasn't mental health that killed these people. It was an automatic rifle with bullets.
First of all, not really sure where you're going with the whole he has an automatic gun. But let's just go with what you're saying. It's not mental illness that killed these people. It was the gun. Okay, perfect. So why aren't the majority of the people in the country shooting people, killing people? If it's truly the problem's the gun and not mental health.
That's what killed them. I'm a gun lover. I have guns. I'm a former police officer. I'm a former Army officer. But these M4s and AR-15s, they've got to get off the streets or this is going to keep happening.
Okay, sounds good. How do you get them off the streets? Who do you start with? How would you do it? Roll up there with your cowboy hat and say, okay, give me your gun.
And we've got to stop that at some point. It could be you. It could be your family member. I never imagined it would be me. I never imagined it would happen in my community, but it did. And we've got to stop this type of carnage. And all the politicians are going to make statements. They're going to offer prayers and condolences. Prayers and condolences won't bring these people back. We need some action in our legislatures at the federal and state level for better gun control. And I'm saying that as somebody who loves guns.
But let's continue, though, because there's more cops who want to just talk about gun control on this.
From him, frantic. I mean, he's a police officer in another city, and he's calling me about his daughter that's at the Allen Mall at the pretzel shop, and they barricaded themselves along with 10 other people inside of a storage closet because and he can hear the gunshots in the background, and he's frantic, trying to figure out what's going on. I'm grabbing my gun, trying to shoot to the other side of town so we can get there.
Sir, I think that's the problem with this. Can't you see? I mean, how long does it take to pull the trigger 30 times? Not long at all. So law enforcement has nothing to do with this. Sure, they can handle it afterwards, but in order to prevent these, how is it done? It's by someone at the mall in that situation carrying a gun, saying, no, you're not going to kill all these people. Boom.
Look, I know we've given a lot of credence to our Second Amendment laws. I'm a Second Amendment pro-gun right guy, but I will tell you, we cannot allow criminals to be running around here with guns, with body armor, and not who they are, know who they are.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'm glad this was live news because you just dismantled everything about gun control. You can literally argue. You know how you just said we can't let criminals run around with guns and body armor and all that? Can criminals currently own guns? Felons? Can they have body armor? Most likely not. So what are you talking about? It sounds like maybe you just suck at your job. But no, your answer is, well, we need gun control.
Can't happen anymore. I think it's time that we start looking at mental health laws, start looking at gun protection laws. We got to do what we got to do to make sure that the right people have the guns.
What makes you the right person? So how do you base who gets a firearm, who the right person is? If we're going off intelligence, your ability to own a gun would be questioned. Hey, I'm not making up the rules, you are. How do you go about checking mental health? Does mental health change? What do you consider to be bad mental health? Someone's having a bad day, someone's clinically depressed, someone's suicidal. What's the kind of ground level? The next one's a retired FBI agent. I'm sure y'all can guess how this one's gonna go.
The bottom line is there's always going to be a digital footprint with respect to that person showing up tomorrow and buying ammunition or buying a gun. And I want to know what he or she may have posted. And if it is questionable, we need to do more with respect to checking that person's suitability. That is a one-step approach. At least we get to look into whether or not someone may or may not be suitable. We just can't use the gold standard as the indicator that someone has no criminal record. That's ridiculous in 2023.
I mean, you guys literally might as well be talking up here and just be ripping up the Constitution while you're suggesting things. So you're going to base somebody's ability to buy a firearm off of what they post on their social media? Have you been on Instagram lately? TikTok? It's a madhouse. People are posting some really messed up stuff. But it's almost like music nowadays. As long as it's in music, as long as it's in social media, it can't alarm anyone. I mean, you want to start somewhere? Start in the music industry. You got rappers literally talking about gunning down people. It's a pipe dream and it's stupid. And you know what we're doing when we're doing all this? We're disrespecting the families who lost people. I went on Twitter the other day, I was eating dinner, and I saw the whole scene. Saw this guy walk up, film a whole bunch of dead people. One of them was still moving. The guy decided not to help them, I guess. But yeah, it's messed up seeing like a 5-year-old girl on the ground with her brains all over the sidewalk. Yeah, messed up. And there's two ways that your mind can go with that. There's only two. The soft people in this country, the people who have no balls, the people who don't understand how the world works, want to look at this and say, oh, it's the gun's fault. Let's get rid of the guns. Let me just plainly say this. You can't get rid of the guns. People either like them way too much, people either consider them their survival, or the people are criminals. So they're going to have them regardless of if you ban them or not. The other way is the only way, and it's every single able-bodied person in this country. If you're going to the mall, carry a gun. If you're going to your church, carry a gun. If you're going to any public place, carry a gun. I don't trust anyone with my life except for me. That's the only way we stop this. And with all the gun control laws, all the gun-free zones, all that, get rid of all of it.